we need to take care of ourselves too. And so in doing so, we could go to another therapist, but we know what they'd say, so let's go find something else, like go sailing or skydiving or whatever you want. It's all fun. So I'll turn this over to David, and he'll introduce the lucky speaker, whoever that might be.
Our guest speaker this month is someone that is new to hypnosis and also is very new to the AAEH organization. And we thought we would give him an opportunity to try out his presentation skills here this month. And so I hope that you will be kind and welcome our soon-to-be excellent friend, Mr. Don Hood.
There's protocols. Walk off. So, how many got the email and read the claims that I said? And at the bottom of the thing, see if I live up to these things. Some might be a little thing, but everyone, I will answer every one on there. So, but the standard disclaimer comes first. Absolutely everything that I'm saying tonight is absolutely true for me. And whatever resonates with you guys is great. Take it with my blessing, and whatever doesn't, whatever you think is horse hockey, throw away or set up on a shelf for a later time. But I'm sharing this with you from my heart, from who I am, and whatever works for you, great. And if you got questions, keep it to yourself. I'll answer anything that comes across. But something to that is kind of a baseline here is that everything that you have done since you popped out of your mom, some people think even before that, everything has gotten you to this point. Now that's all the anniversaries, the birthdays, the graduations, the weddings, the births, all the wonderful things, the adventures you've been on, everything great and wonderful. But that stands for behold the underlying truth. Remember, I was going to ask you who remembered that. But behold the under truth. All of the other stuff also has gotten you to here. The sickness, the breakups, the deaths that have been in the family and friends and on the line there, the tragedies that you hear about on the news, everything that you have experienced since popping out to this moment here has gotten you here to this point. All of your choices, all of your acceptance of what's happened to you has gotten you to here. Now, this is where you decide. Am I doing okay? Yes or no. If I'm doing okay, then keep on going. If I'm not doing okay, what do we need to do?
Something different.
Something different, exactly. Something different. Some people go through life, and you may know some of these people, especially being a therapist, you may know some of these people that are walking down the street and they fall into the same hole. Then they walk down the street again and they fall into the same hole. It's like, why don't they go around the hole? It seems so obvious to some people that can see it from a distance. But sometimes you have people that don't have any hope. I had a client that I was getting a little frustrated with because she kept, falling into the hole. And she said, I just don't have any hope. Just don't have any hope at all. And so I used a naughty word. But basically I said, well, screw hope. Just screw hope. Just forget about the hope thing. Because that was the block. That was the wall that she was beaten up into. I said, turn the corner. Well, just turn the corner. But what if even if there's another hole down that way, it's a different hole at least. By changing, you'll change the direction of your life. So if it's not going well, make a change. So we hear voices all the time telling us what we should do. We should do this, we should do that. I mean, how many have been told what to do? Some people are still getting told what to do. If no one told you what to do, who would you be? You. Okay, good. Some people have been told so much that they're not sure who they are. The biggest block in all of this is fear. What does fear stand for?
False evidence appearing real.
False evidence appearing real.
Forgetting everything's all right.
Forgetting everything's all right. That's a good one too. Forget everything and run. F naughty word and run. Somebody told me that one. But another way to look at it, then I'll say or stands for other reality. Okay, other reality. If we flip those letters around, we have a whole new word. I mean, we can't really pronounce it probably, but Rafe, I guess. Anyway, it stands for reality always elevates freedom. We change our reality and have a different look on what's going on, and we can elevate our freedom and reclaim that power that we are. Now, the 2 roadblocks of success, remember the 2 things I said in the early part of the email? There's 2 things. One is genetics. These are like excuses we have. Well, everybody in my family had cancer, so I guess what's the point of quitting cigarettes because I'm going to get cancer too. I met a guy that he had 3 uncles and a father. None of them smoked because we got to talking about he was smoking and I said, well, I can help you with that. And he said, nah. Because all 3 of those guys, the 3 uncles and his dad, all died of cancer. And he figured he was going to die anyway of cancer. And he enjoyed smoking, so why not? I said, well, if you change your mind, when you're ready, you can't make somebody stop smoking. That's isn't how it works. But people think because it's in your genes. And people make some drastic choices because they think it's in their genes that this is going to happen to them, so then they do some drastic measures. Some people will say, well, it's in my genes, so I'm not going to be successful. It's in my genes, so I can't move forward with my life. I'm doomed to be this way. Or you're doomed to have a particular disease. However, how many people know Bruce Lipton? Not personally, but have heard of Bruce Lipton. Okay. Bruce Lipton talks about the biology of belief. And he talks about how the intention to the stem cells, the intention to the cells changed the cells. He had 3 dishes, 3 petri dishes in one of his experiments. This is when it kind of hit home to him. That he took stem cells from the same clump of stem cells, put them into 3 dishes, and with intention, he made some bone, some skin tissue, and some muscle tissue. Just with the intention to that. Now, the gene is like a blueprint. So the architect sees this. This is the blueprint, okay? Doesn't mean that you have to build exactly like that. The intention is what makes the difference. And that's the thing. We're not locked into genetics. We don't have that as an excuse anymore. We used to, because science said that's the way it was. But it was a Newtonian mindset. There's another thing about Newtonian science. We've been on a Newtonian science since Newton, of course. But one of the reasons why that went all science and no spirituality with it, because it needed to separate from the church, because the church was trying to control everything and say, The earth is flat, and that's that. Because God told me. But now they're finding out that it's not. That's not it. It's not the same thing. We're using the mind is so much stronger. Bruce Lipton says it's 100 times stronger than the genetics, but it's more. I think it's more. It's like huge. But it's more powerful than matter, is what he says. But I think it's a lot more. We're dealing with energy here, and the energy is what. As we affect that energy, we can affect the outcome of our health, affect the outcome of our mindset and our success. We can reclaim that power. Okay, the other roadblock, that's one roadblock. The other roadblock is memetics. So we've got genetics and we've got memetics. People have heard about memes, you know what memes are, and how they go viral. Well, there's a study of memetics and how these ideas are like mind viruses, and they lump in not just the media, the media things that we hear about going viral, but stuff like your mother is always this way, and your father is always this way, and all that environmental stuff that is holding us down. And those are other excuses that we get. We get, well, I can't do this because I've been stuck in this thing, and it's the economy. The economy is always. People tell me that, it's like they want to slap them. Well, yes, the economy isn't as good as it was before, but it's a lot better than it was before, and it can get better. And what are you doing about that? Well, I don't know. And so they get stuck in this environmental mindset that they can't move forward. So that's another excuse. Rick Hansen is a guy who wrote a book called Buddha's Brain, and I've talked about him before. That he talks in his book that the mind is like a field, and it's the thought patterns that we have are like pathways in the field. There's no grass, and they're just these pathway this way, pathway that way, and the neurotransmitters are going zipping this way and that, and that's we have thought in the past that's that. We're stuck like that, but we're not. We can reprogram our head to think a different way, and if we think a different way, we're going down a different path. And as we start going down this path, the first few times, the grass is still there. We trample that down. We keep trampling it down. The grass can't grow, goes away. So we've got a real good path. What happens to this other path that we haven't been going on? The grass grows up and it's not there anymore. So we can reprogram our brain. Now, as hypnotherapists, we know we do that. We help people reprogram to where they want to be. We don't make them do anything. And some of us feel that we're actually de-hypnotizing people. How many people use that paradigm? I do that too. And there's all kinds of cases like that where we go back to the initializing event and it's like, bam, this guy decided to smoke because he's 12 years old, he's sitting in a movie theater looking at Clint Eastwood smoking, and he's a man's man, so when I turn 21, I'm going to smoke too. And then at 21, bam, he starts smoking. He doesn't know why, but he hypnotized himself back when he was 12. So Buddha's brain, we can program it however we want that way. The Lao Tzu, we know, most of us know who Lao Tzu is. If you correct your mind, the rest of your life will fall into place. So that's where you correct the mind. And we're mind people. We're mind people. We help people connect with their brain. We have like 60,000 thoughts a day. Most of them are the same thoughts. We get ourselves into these loops and loops and loops and go on and on and on. And then we wonder why we're not succeeding in stuff. Are you moving forward with your thoughts? So now we're going to talk about God, quantum mechanics, and a little astrophysics on the side. And this is where, I don't know where you guys are with God. And it doesn't matter where you guys are with God. Some people are really God people, and some people are, God doesn't even exist. You know, it's both sides. But what's important is the foundation of all of this goes back to energy. That energy is what in quantum mechanics you go. They went back and back and back. There in the 1920s they discovered what quantum mechanics were. They found that the base, the foundation of everything is energy and space. This is supposed to be solid, right? You know, you think solid. It's not. Of course, if I hit myself on there, it would hurt. But most of it is energy. If you take a helium atom, Gary Zukav in the Dancing Woolly Masters talks about taking a helium atom, if the nucleus is the size of a tennis ball, and set that down in a field, you'd go 70 feet and put a speck of dust out there to be the electron that goes around it. That's how much space, that kind of the scale of it all. Now we go there, that's the littlest part. We go out to the astrophysics side, and it is way huge. We think, we've always thought that the universe is huge, okay? There's millions and millions of stars, or billions of stars. Well, yes, that is true. But there's also millions and millions of universes. And there's clusters of universes. They're called multiverses. We're in a multiverse called Laniakea, which means eternal heaven. I think that's kind of nice. It was named by a Hawaiian guy, of course, but I like it. Laniakea, that's where we are. But there's millions of multiverses. So it just, where's the end of it? I don't know. And in the, back in history, they had God was out in the clouds, right? And then God was above the clouds when we started looking past the clouds. And then God got further away and got further away. And it's like, well, where's God? Well, he must be like way out. But there's a story I want to tell you about this avatar in Nepal. In Nepal, you can't get fruit. That's one of the reasons. But this avatar, he was a young guy. He was like 13, 14 years old. And the elders of the village decided to come and test him. So they came up to him and they said, we'll give you an orange if you tell us where God is. And he replied, I'll give you 3 oranges if you tell me where God is not. God is everywhere because God is that energy that is in everything. So whether you see God as God, like I affectionately call him Howard sometimes because in the Lord's Prayer it says, Howard be thy name. He's okay with that. Or whether you just see this universal energy. But what that is also saying is that we are all one. That universal energy permeates everything, is in everything, and we are that energy. So, what the mystics were saying 4,000 years ago is what science, Neil Tyson and the gang are saying, oh look, we discovered this. Well, 4,000 years ago, the mystics were already saying this stuff. But it's kind of neat that science is catching up with the mystics. So the spirituality and the science is coming together. Not that they were ever really apart, but the illusion was there that they were separate. And there's some that are fundamentalists on both sides that think that they are still separate, but they're not. Now religion, again, I'm not preaching, it may sound like I'm preaching, but I'm not preaching. I am not preaching.
Amen.
Yes. But it's so exciting. When you're looking at how this is all so huge and so little and how it all comes together. Religion will always be in their box. First handout time. Speaking of all that. So, we'll get to, it's always on the bottom. I'll have one, and you can pass out the rest there. This is a perspective on world religions. Now, if you look at world religions, I've got another sheet that has 20 or 30 religions on it, and they all have a version of the Golden Rule. All of them. If you study these guys, you will see that the foundation, the bottom, the nugget that is the foundation of the religion is about unconditional love in one way or another. Some people say, well, the Buddhists don't believe in that, but they do. It's compassionate non-attachment. It's the same thing as unconditional love. Okay? So, this is how it works. They have this love, and that is like way cool, because that's the thing that unifies everyone. We're all one people. The Takuyasu, Lakota Sioux thing. Anybody remember the all one people buttons? They used to have a world flag, a world from outer space, little Earth on there, and then it was rectangle and it said all one people. And the guy made it in like 30 different languages. They were pretty cool. I was wearing one, my dad said, that'll never happen. He's kind of a pessimist. Lovely guy, though, really great guy. But he said, that'll never happen. I said, Dad, it already has, just not everybody knows it yet. So we've got the love part, and that's all cool. Then we have the dogma. The dogma is where it says, like, my God is like this, and your God is like that, and his God is like that, and her God is like that, and their God is like that, and all these different factions. We're dealing with omnipotence. You look at it differently. Okay, and that's cool. That's just fine. But where it goes off the rails is the top part of the triangle, the exclusion rules, where we got our box and you can't get in unless you believe exactly like we do. And if you don't believe exactly like we do, you're going to go to hell. That's just it. It's too bad, but that's the way it is. And you look kind of funny, so I don't think we'll let you in. That's wrong. That's when it goes off the rails. Now, it can be as simple as that, saying, well, we won't let you in, which isn't good, or to the extreme of, or we'll kill you, because it's okay to kill you, because it says in our rules that it's okay to kill you. If you study enough, you will see that particularly everybody coming down from Abraham has that in their rules, that it's okay to annihilate the other guys. Never is it okay. You guys know the Onion newspaper? Okay, everybody nods. That's great. Right after 9/11, there was a 2-page article, sort of like a press conference with God. And it was the best thing that the Onion has ever done, in my eyes. I read the headlines sometimes when they pass by, and that's enough. But this was a really good article. And one of the things that God said is, listen, I've been talking to you guys for so long, I've got it down to 4 words. It's never okay. So whoever is killing it under my name is wrong. And so on. It went on, and it was very well done. Because it's not okay to take a life like that. It's not okay to say that because you're different, it's okay to kill you. That is just, it's not. So this is where it goes off the rails, is this upper level. So the religions aren't so bad. And the foundation of what they were started on was wonderful. But it's this part up here. If we could slice off that part, we'd be good. Okay. Now, I got to read a thing to you about fear, and then one thing about love, because it's about love and fear. We all know that. A Course in Miracles always talks about that love and fear stuff, and it seems like that's what really makes it go. So fear, this I'll do the glasses part, is one of the major cornerstones of the karmic condition. It speaks to the distrust of eternal love. It is a disbelief in yourself. It is an extreme perversion of truth and light. This is where the ego gets into the mix here. The ego is very big on fear. And perversion of truth, light, and love, which is precisely what your world is all about. The healing of the extreme distortions of truth, light, and love. The healing. That's what we're here to learn. So all this crap that you've gone through and all these wonderful things that you've gone through, they're all lessons to get you to here, where you are, and to help you know how to go to the next step. My daughter, she won't mind me telling you this story about her life. Quite a long time ago, she decided to get married to this guy that was a real charmer. Now, maybe some of you have been married to charmers, and maybe not anymore, and bless you for that. Because once he had her in the marriage, then the charm disappeared. And it was 14 years of really hard marriage. And then she finally had the guts to get out. And she got out, divorced. He's on the West Coast doing whatever he's doing, and everything's, we're living happily ever after now. She's with a guy that is wonderful, very caring. She said, he really cares about me, Dad. Yeah, those are the ones you're supposed to hook up with. But she was, right afterwards, she was kicking herself about being in this relationship for 14 years. It was like, how could I have wasted all that time? It's like, did look all this horrible stuff. I said, wait. You went into the marriage in good faith. You thought you were in love and that this was going to work out. It was going to be wonderful. Then you found out it wasn't. And you thought, well, I made the commitment. I'm going to see if we can turn this around and make it good. Right? That's what you're supposed to do. Then she finally decided, it ain't going to happen. So she had the guts to get out. I said, you have a doctorate degree in bad marriage. You don't need to do that again. Oh, yeah. So if we take the lesson and learn from it, then we don't have to do it again. We need to learn to forgive. We need to forgive this guy who really was not a nice guy. He's still not a nice guy. But I got an interesting karma story about this fella. I have some connections. Some guys that are just like, they're union guys and they're kind of, tough. And then I also know somebody who knows somebody, like in the family. All of them love my daughter. And not every one of them, but, well, all of them love my daughter. But a number of them came to me during this 14-year period and said, we could make arrangements. And I'm thinking, well, as nice an offer as that is, I think we'll pass because we don't need that karma, right? Okay, now she's left, this guy. He's on the south side of Chicago near Chinatown. He gets mugged down there. I mean, beat up. And then there's a robbery, right? Then they get pissed off because he doesn't have any money. So they beat him up again. So he's really messed up. And then he hightails it to California. He's afraid, he's done, he runs away. Because he's that kind of guy. I had a number of people say to me, it wasn't us. But this is how karma works. You don't have to meddle with it. You don't have to say, well, I'm going to do this or that. Nah, just let the universe take care of it. Put it in the Father's hands. Put it in the universe's hands, however you see that. Let the universe take care of the karmic debt there. And then you're not connected with it. You're not tied into that. We don't need to be tied into that stuff. So, the thoughts, the science and spirituality. We're going to talk about demons next. But not demons like you might think, because some people know some of the other stuff that I do about the other side. And what they have there? They're written down here somewhere. It's okay. Oh, here. Glasses. The demons, I use that because it's the D that goes in with. There's 3 demons that hold us back. Doubt, delay, and division. Doubt. We are plagued with doubt when we're setting out on a path. We get like, oh man, I got a great idea. And then fear or ego will say, better be careful. Don't do that. That might be risky. So don't. Maybe tomorrow, or maybe when the economy gets better, or whatever. Or you have doubt from family members. You have doubt from my brother. He was 10. I was really tiny then. He was like 10 years old, walking across the top of the swing set. So he's doing like the tightrope thing, and doing great. He was just fine. And he's more than halfway across. My mom sees him, gets nervous, and yells out the back door, "Billy, be careful!" What happens? Now, he didn't break anything, so it was all right, but he would have been fine if he had just kept going, didn't have mom interfering. Mom was protective. But, so well-meaning doubters. But he would have gone across, climbed down, run away, done kid stuff. But because she doubted, she put that doubt onto Billy, Bill, my brother, he's the older brother, and he failed. He failed. He fell off of the thing. But maybe he learned that his lesson was, maybe I won't do that again. But he could have done it. He could have done it, and probably done it many times after that. I don't know whether he climbed up again after. But we have those doubts from well-meaning people. They tell you, probably shouldn't go to school because, you get that degree, and then what are you going to do with it? I mean, it's the economy and everything. So that's number one, doubt. The other thing is delay. Delay. Well, maybe I'll do it tomorrow, or maybe next week, or maybe when the economy gets better, or maybe. But that also holds us back. There's a thing we need to do is act on our dreams, act on what we believe in. ACT stands for always create today. Always create today, ACT. And do something, create something each day. Step forward. 3 steps forward and 2 steps back may feel discouraging because you're not getting where you want to go. But you're still going forward. 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, you still got 1. And sometimes life is like that. Sometimes life is like sailing, where you can't go directly into the wind, so you can't quite go to your goal all the time. You have to tack. You have to go this way, and you go over this way, and slowly you make headway, because of the way the wind is. And there's other things. I had a project that I ended up having to do on Friday to get my boat in, that it kind of went, it ballooned into the whole day. It should have been a half-hour job, but one thing led to another thing that led to another thing, and nothing was in a straight line on that day. But, to go the underlying truth, it really worked out, because the thing that I pulled out of the package that was broken, that I had bought years before as a spare, a different company said, well, we'll just trade you out for a new one. So score number 1 on that. I needed to get a bushing at the end of it to match the other part of it. So I went to the hardware store. The guy said, we'll just snip off a little piece of this and that'll work fine. Free sample today. So it didn't cost me anything except for the whole time of the day. So be not discouraged if you're going 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, because you're still getting to your goal. The third one is probably the most insidious, and that's division. And that's where you get this whole thing of, like in the religions, of the exclusivity and separation. And this is where ego comes really strong. I'm so much better than you, so I don't have to deal with you. I'm afraid of you, so I'm going to look like I'm better than you. I'm going to pretend I'm better than you because I'm terrified that you might find out that I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm going to distance you on this. I am so much better than you that everybody else is so low that I'm just by myself up in this room over here. And then I'll turn all these other people against you too. That's horrible. But that happens. You can see it happening in the world. Where's the love? You know, it's all the ego. And ego stands for, everybody knows this, most people know this, edging God out. Ego is edging God out. The more ego you bring in, the less there's room for God. And God's one of those things, one of those entities that'll be like, okay, you know, I can wait. I got all the time there is. So if you want to learn this lesson, go ahead. You know, if you want to learn this lesson about how the ego's going to take you down, okay, well, I'm here for you. Now, if you're not thinking God, you can think that energy. If you're not allowing that energy to flow through, you're choking that off because you think you can do everything yourself without the universe's energy. It's like a faucet. We need to be like the faucet. The more we turn it on, the more goes through, the more love and light goes through, the more energy goes through, the more energy flows through us. What's the difference between a stream that is flowing and a stream that is stagnant? You know, stagnant is it's stinky, it festers, things die in it. But when a stream is flowing, there's a show I just stumbled across last night called the Ganges. I don't know if anybody's seen that. It's a series. I don't know how many episodes, but it's about the Ganges River, and it was really cool because it was starting in the Himalayas and getting down to where it opened up to the full Ganges River, and it just was really neat how much life there is in that water. And again, science. When the water is moving, it emits negative ions. We need negative ions to help us heal and help us to bring energy into our system. That's why it's good to be out in the water or around moving water somewhere. That's why we put a little fountain in our lobby or in our waiting room of our offices. Anybody have a fountain? No, one. I used to in one of my offices. I used to have a little fountain. But that moving water is good for that. So let's talk about 7 steps to realign your mind and reclaim your power. Okay? 7 steps. The first one is accept your entire past. Accept the whole thing. Lock, stock, and barrel. Like I said at the beginning of this thing, everything that you've done before, and those of us that believe in reincarnation, all of our past lives as well. But everything has gotten us to this point. Now, can we learn from that? Or are we going to fall into that hole again? So we need to accept the good and the bad as well, and remember the lessons with it all. Let go of the trauma, let go of the crap that's hanging on to that. Because you don't want to attach to it. You just accept that it happened and take the lesson away and say goodbye. Now, one of the things you can do, we'll do a little meditation here. Some of you are already dipping. That's okay. We probably had a nice dinner, and I'm droning on and on and on. So I'm going to put a little music on, and I'll explain that music afterwards. But I want you to take some breaths, and we'll do see how he dips under that? Let's get this so it turns on. You take a few breaths and just release. Next one. Take another couple of breaths and release again, and just breathe normal, easy. This is not going to be tricky. It's more of a visualization. Put it in your mind's eye. Feeling this relaxation, imagine yourself on a train. This train can be any kind of train you want. It can be a steam train, a diesel train, a fast train, a slow train. But the train is on the tracks. The tracks are smooth. But but you're in the back car. You're in the last car of this train. And you can see out the back of this train. And the train is going forward. You're looking out the back of this train and you see the tracks going. It's like you're still, and the tracks are going back further and further and further. And you look to the sides, and you see all the stuff on the sides as it's going by. Some of it looks familiar. Some of it looks familiar from way long ago. And it's going by, it's going past. And you're going forward, away from all this stuff. All this stuff that was in your past, all this stuff that you went through is all done. And you're moving forward away from it. Forward into new adventures, new life, new decisions, new choices, new energy. Breathe deep. And now you're at the beginning of this train. At the head of this train, you're at the controls, and you can make it go fast or slow. But those rails are smooth, and they go to your dream. They go to where you want to go. And here's another thing about this, though. If you do want to have another dream, you can put a switch in those tracks and switch off to another whole new adventure. And be free. Be smooth. Breathe this energy in. And when you're ready, just relax and come on back. Take a deep breath and release. And every time you take a breath, you're breathing in that energy. Every time you take a breath, you're breathing in prana. That's a fact. You're breathing in oxygen, healing oxygen, all that good stuff. Maybe if you're behind a car or something, you're not breathing in all the best stuff. But you're breathing in. Taking a breath is really important. As you're breathing in that oxygen, be mindful of that. Mindful living will help increase all this energy too. Now, this sound that you were hearing was a 528 hertz sound. You guys know about the solfeggio sounds? Some no, not some do. Okay. There's 6 original sounds, and they are the sounds that count for the 6 chakras, and then the 7th chakra. And you can go up to, I think there's 12 sounds in the big grouping of sounds. But another thing that's interesting is this is also St. John's Gregorian chant. It's the first 6 verses of that. You know, do, re, mi, fa, so. That's the beginning of the Latin word of those first 3 those first 6 verses. This lines up, the 528 hertz lines up with the vibration of your heart, the heart chakra. So that helps to open up the heart chakra and helps open that energy. Check it out online. There's a lot of different ones. I've got, I think I still have on my website the solfeggio tones and St. John's Gregorian chant, and a little booklet on there. That's donhood.org. If you're interested, there's also other stuff on there, stuff I've written and whatnot. Might be interesting to know around that. So, how'd you guys feel about that? I different reactions here I was looking at. So,
I like gong bats.
You like what?
Gong bats.
Gong?
Gongs.
Gong? Oh, gong bats. Oh, gong bats, yes. Gong bats. Yes, those are good. Again, energy. It's all energy and vibration. It's just amazing. The more you learn about this, the more excitement. Well, more excited I get about how huge this is and how it is about the energy with that. So, where do we leave off here with forgiveness is number 2. I talked a little bit about that. Forgiveness, we need to forgive. It's just, I was baited into this conversation with this woman. She does this on an irregular basis. You know, we cross paths, and then she basically into a conversation that she knocks me down. And I don't know why I let her do that, but this one time we got into this talk. She was going to school to be a counselor, and we got to talking about recovery. And she said, I said something about forgiveness, and she said, well, forgiveness doesn't have anything to do with recovery. And I'm going, okay, we're done. And actually, my brother was with too, so I just walked away and let my brother deal with the rest of the conversation, because there was nothing I could say to that. Because she felt that everybody's been abused, and forgiveness has nothing to do with recovery. It's like forgiveness has everything to do with it. Because if we don't forgive and let go of it, then we're going to hang on to that for the rest of our lives. I teach a workshop, Love and Forgiveness, or Stop Hauling That Garbage. And I talk about, or Stop Hauling That Garbage. And it's how we are going through life, and we are saying, well, that someone a bitch, you know, put some more of that in there, and then this happened to me, and I'll never forgive that thing, and put some more stuff in this thing. It's like the slaves filling the cotton bags. You've seen those in pictures. I don't know how much they weigh, but I think they're like a couple hundred pounds when they're full. A ball of cotton, not so much. All this stuff, why would you want to hang on to that? Carl?
Yeah, there's such a thing as forgiving, but not forgetting.
Right.
So you don't have to forget it happened, but you forgive it and let it out of your life. But you don't have to, they expect to forget it too, and history sometimes can't be forgotten, but it can be forgiven and say it's past.
Exactly. Let go of the trauma, let go of the junk that's around it, and remember the lesson. Take the lesson and remember that lesson, because like I think I said before, if we don't remember the lesson, what do we got to do? We got to take the class over again. Maybe you don't want to take that class over again, or whatever it was. So don't. It's like, don't. I've had people say, yeah, but I can't forgive him, you know, but he's not in your life anymore. Yeah, but what he did and everything like that. Do you want to see him in the next lifetime? No, then let it go. Be done with it.
You know, I would add too that
Does this make it more 3D when you got those glasses on?
yes.
Okay.
It makes me feel
You're cool. Okay, go ahead.
I'll be available for autographs.
We don't know if he's sleeping or not, too.
Now my secret.
I can hear the snore from here. Go ahead.
The idea that forgiveness is really for you,
Yeah.
not for the other person. I think people don't understand that. You know, they think that they're supposed to be doing something, but you're doing it, you're releasing a weight from your own shoulders. That's what you're
Not
it's
forgiving
helping
is
you.
like holding a hot coal in your hand to throw it at the enemy. And it's, another thing I was going to say about that. It doesn't necessarily get the guy off the hook, or the woman off the hook. The other person doesn't get off the hook because you're doing the forgiving. What you're doing is letting go. Now, some therapists, when they go in, in their process, they say we need to cut these cords and stuff. I never say cut the cords. Cutting the cord is an aggressive thing. Let's untie them and let them go. Now, I'll use another sailing term or analogy. Say that you're the one in the sailboat because you got the boat, and you're sailing along, but this guy or this junk that you're not forgiving is in the dinghy that you're towing behind. Well, you could cut it, but then you still got this little stubby rope there that's hanging on, and you don't want that either. So just untie it, let him drift away, and you're sailing on, free and clear. So let it go. Right? Build a bridge and get over it. Okay, that's a T-shirt I saw one time. So,
Hey, Don, what about self-forgiveness?
I was
The most
just
difficult part.
right there. See, yourself. See? They're reading my cue cards. But that's exactly right. That's the next thing. And quite often, it's very difficult.
What is it?
Forgive yourself. You need to forgive yourself. And being therapists, you run into this all the time. You've got people in your chair who, okay, I'll forgive the son of a bitch, but, you know, I'm still pissed off that I got myself into this thing. I'm not good enough because I deserve to have that happen to me. No. But in some fashion, there was a choice at some level, in the big picture of things, to get you into that, so maybe you'd learn to not do that anymore. Okay? One of my issues I have with some religions is they say, you're not good enough. I don't know, again, I don't know where you guys are with your religion, and that's fine, but one of my issues, and I'm a minister, I very, very baptized, but it's all about the love of God. All about the love and how we're loved by Him. And when I happen to be in a Catholic Mass and they say during communion, yes, love, almost holding the love sign up. During the communion it says, we are not worthy to accept these gifts. I want to leap out of the pew and say, yes, we're worthy. We are His children, for God's sake. That whole happy holiday thing, that was a couple of years ago. It was a big deal. Happy holidays. Gotta say happy holidays. Don't say Merry Christmas. And I had some friends that were like particularly Christian who would they were really upset about that. I said, wait. Say it how I do it. Well, how's that? I says, say happy holidays for Christ's sake. It's all about the love. However you see it, however you can accept it. But it's all about the love. And we get to have, there's two things. This is how I see God. There are two things. One is we get to have all the love and light there is. All of it. And this is what's cool about being wholly abundant. It's like a hologram. You know what holograms are? Okay, if you break a hologram in half, what do you got? Two whole holograms. And you break that again. You got more whole holograms. So that's, you could take all the love and light you could possibly consume, and all of it would still be left. Energy cannot be destroyed. And that's how all that works. The second thing with that is we have free will. We can accept it or not. Whether we see it as God's love for us, which I think is cool, that's warm and fuzzy. I kind of identify with that. I like warm and fuzzy. But if you look at it as just the energy that's flowing around, we could accept that energy and use it and channel it through. We can meditate on it. We can bring it in and use that, or not. It's wholly and completely our choice. We can let the ego take over and say, I don't need any of that stinking energy. I got this. I got it. And see how far you'll go, because you're not, it's like you're choking it off. Choking it off. So forgive yourself. Very good to bring that up. Because that'll get us to the next step. Not forgiving ourselves is buying into the ego. Because the ego will say, yeah, you're not that good. You know? But when you're tuning into that energy, it's like, yeah, you're good. Yeah. Now you're not good like better than anybody else. Because we're all good. I was in the pulpit at a church one time, and I was saying, some people think that only the special people get to go to heaven. And the thing is, it's true. And everybody's looking like, is that a unity church, so it's all that love and friendly stuff. But, you know, I like doing things that wake people up like that. I say, but the secret is that we're all special. Every one of us. Every one of us has a unique thing to bring to the table. And it's important that we're here, or we wouldn't be here. Now, are we done and perfect in every way? Just check yourself out. Are you dead? Most everybody in here is not. So that means you got stuff to do yet. So go ahead, you know, do stuff. Do what you want to do, but don't be blocked by your genes and you know, all this other talk that other people have. So let's say you have a bank account. We're moving on to the next number. You got this bank account, and it has $864,000 in it. And it comes to you, and you can spend it all you want. Anybody know this number? Some people do. 864,000 of these units. But the thing is that you've got to spend them in 24 hours. You've got to spend them in the one day. Can you do that? You think you could do that? Helen's back there. Yeah, I can buy stuff. Go on shopping. Here's the thing. Whatever you don't use, you don't get to have. It's all gone. But you get another 864,000 next. You know what this number is? The seconds in a day. You get 864,000. Now you hear people say, if I only had more time. That's not going to happen. You get 24 hours or 864,000 seconds. There's no more. If you were on the other side, you'd have all the time there is. But right now, because time is linear, you've got just this much. So how do you use this? How do you use it? Some people get a list. They write a list and they do all these things on their list. And they keep adding to that list. There's a secret, folks. There's an 80-20 rule. Do people know about the 80-20 rule? The 80-20 rule is that if you got 10 things and you put them rank them in the most important at the top, down the top 2, or the 20%, are worth 80% of the value of the list. It's the Pietro principle, and it's ancient. It's back in 1400s or something. I can't remember exactly, but it was in Italy, and this guy figured out the 80-20 rule applies to everything. Applies to crowds. 20% of the people in here are not getting this information. 80% are, or 20% are getting the information. It's 80-20. And it's you look at all kinds of things. So your list, 80-20, right? The other secret on the list is you're not going to get the list done. And the reason for that is that you'll always be putting stuff on this list. So you're not going to finish your list. Just be okay with that. And you can move on with that. Do one thing. Focus on doing one thing. Say, okay, I got all these things to do. What am I going to do? Oh my gosh. Well, pick something, one. And sometimes, if it was something simple and easy, like putting something away. I'm going to fold the laundry. We'll do that. Get that done. So then you got something done. Cross that off your list, or just be done with it. Do one thing, and then you can do another one thing. But if you look at it and say, oh, I got a dozen things to do. What am I going to do? How am I going to get them done? Stuff. Back off. Just grab one thing. And if you don't know, if you're stressed out on finding, what is it I'm going to do, you can put the thing on the refrigerator, and you go like this. And okay, I'm going to do this one thing, and then do the next one thing. Again, what's ACT stand for? ACT is. Oh no!
Always create today.
Always create today. Go ahead, you get the gold star. I wrote it down too.
It's on the other side.
Okay, number 4 is awareness. Be aware of who you are, where you are. It's a mindfulness thing. Be mindful as you go through the day. Some people just are rushing from one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing. But if we're paying attention, if we're being mindful, if we're come into a room and we say, oh, look, all these wonderful people are here. I got to say hi to you, I got to say hi to you, and I want to say hi to you, and we're going to give hugs and all this. sometimes people just come in, they rush in, they sit down in the chair, and that's it. Or they're rushing down the street. I say hi to all kinds of people. I was rushing into, I was going into a building, this person was coming out, and I was flipping along because I was up and bubbly and moving along. And I said hi to this gal, and she said, "Hi, do I know you?" I said, "No, do you need to?" And like, it was just that you need to say hi to people. Help somebody have a smile. Carm is one of those guys that goes through life helping people smile. He'll say a nice thing about people. He'll tell a joke to people. He's always bringing that love and joy to
Look at my face.
Yeah, they'll laugh right at you. It's good. But you're bringing a smile. Just complimenting something. Let's say somebody's got nice earrings. I always, I notice people, usually women, with nice earrings, and I'll say, "Oh, I like your earrings." And it's amazing how many people reach up to see what they've got. They got what have I got on today? But just a simple thing as acknowledging another human being is on the planet with you. You walk down the street, especially in the city and stuff, and so many people are like, and they're like robots, and they don't want to interact. Like, oh, heaven forbid, you might say hi, but what that does is you're sharing that energy that you got. And when you share that energy, more energy comes through. I've known some people that say that they're in love with somebody, and then they're in love with that little bit. They're in love with this person, they can't share any more love. They can't walk in. I'm too jealous if I hug somebody else, or that guy's too jealous of me. And it's not like that. It's like, no, open up and celebrate life. Okay, one quick story here. The boat dies, goes to heaven. And it applies. But he goes to heaven, and St. Peter says, "Since you've been such a great scholar of Aramaic," which is what Jesus spoke, everything he did was in Aramaic, we want to take you over to that part of the library, that special section that's all the Aramaic stuff. Okay, so he's over there, and he's happy, and everything fine. Well, a little while later, he starts causing this big ruckus. Such a ruckus that God himself comes over. And he comes up to the Pope. He says, "What in the heaven is going on here?" And the Pope says, "I just can't believe it. All these years. It's been mistranslated all these years. They left out the R. It was supposed to be celebrate." And it is. We're supposed to be celebrating life. And anytime we can turn and say, "Let's celebrate life," then that's a good thing. So, number 5 is allowing. We need to allow ourselves to walk our path. We need to allow other people to walk their path. And sometimes this is hard. It's something that I've been working on for the last couple of years. It kind of came to me that I really need to allow people to do their path. Even though it looks like they're in this rickety truck without brakes going over the cliff, I need to say, it's your path. I'm here for you, but peace be with you. And hopefully they'll somehow turn, or they'll run into a tree or something and not get beat up too bad. But they're not going over the cliff at least. A parachute. See, there you go. Thinking out of the box. That's good. But that's the thing. We need to allow others, and we need to allow ourselves to walk our path. So we get frustrated sometimes because we're not exactly where we want to be. Is everybody exactly where they want to be?
Yeah. Right now.
Right now. Bless you. That's the perfect thing to say. You'll get a hug for that one. But if we were, what would we be doing next? If we, again, we're not dead yet. We're still in process. Life is a process. And as long as we keep stepping forward, we're doing good. Some people come into a lifetime and they don't want to work so hard. And that could be because they may have come out of a lifetime that was just incredibly awful. And so they want to take it easy this time. I really think that when people commit suicide, it's because they've taken on too much stuff and they can't handle it. But folks, because of the reincarnation thing, and that's, I believe in that, they're just checking out of class too early. They have to take the class over. We don't get to skip classes, but it's okay. We'll come back. Because energy doesn't die. There is no death. Anita Morjani, do anybody know Anita Morjani? Check her out on YouTube. She wrote a great book called Dying to Be Me. Here's a woman who was living everybody else's life. She was a successful woman, and in all the surface stuff, she was fine. But she ended up with the high-stage lymphoma cancer. She had lemon-sized tumors throughout her whole body. She was going into a coma and flatlining. She got into the hospital. They said that there's nothing we can do. She had lesions on her skin that if we did bring her back, we'd have to get skin grafting to take care of the thing because of the toxins coming out of her body. She was down to like 80 pounds. She was a mess. It was like she was done. Time to check out, right? She got over to the other side. She met her dad and met her best friend, who both died of cancer. And they talked to her. And she said that she saw everything at once. She also saw her husband talking to the doctor 40 feet down the hall. She saw her brother coming from India. This was in Hong Kong where this was taking place. She's an Indian, she and her husband. Saw all this going on. And in the conversation with her dad and best friend, they said, you have an opportunity here. You can come with if you want, and then you're done. Or you could heal your energy body and go back and be fine and tell the world how this all works. She chose to come back. And in 4 days, she was all better. No tumors, nothing, all that is all good. And I think in a week or two afterwards, she was completely healed. No scarring, nothing. It's all about the energy. And it works. You say that some people then, why did they die if they could have healed their energy? Maybe it's their path. Maybe we have some of these things happen to teach others about love and how to deal with stuff. I had this was 20 years ago. I had a client come in, I remember it vividly because he came into the world, we were doing a past life regression. He came in, he was coming through the birth canal. This is where we started in his lifetime, coming through the birth canal. And then he lived for 2 hours and died. And you always ask, what's the lesson here? What did you learn from this lifetime? He said, it wasn't about me. I was coming in to help my parents learn about loving and letting go. So, when you look at the big picture and the big wheel of life, it's all okay. This is part of that allowing thing. We can allow this to happen and unfold as it needs to. People know Desiderata? I didn't bring that. I usually hand that out often, but look that up online, Desiderata. If you haven't seen it, it's really, really good. It's a great nugget of how to live life. Be gentle on yourself. It's right in the middle. It's really good. Okay, number 6. This is one you've all been waiting for. Passion and free love. Who wants passion and free love? Okay, one hand goes up, 2 hands go up. What do I got? What do I got? More hands are going up, more hands are going up. Okay. Now, all right, here's the secret, folks. You got it. You have all the free love that you could possibly pull in. And the passion is how you use that. How you tap into that spark that allows you to be that force. It's like opening up the dam, opening up that spigot, that faucet. and allowing it to come pouring out. And that's with, if you're living your passion, you have enthusiasm. And enthusiasm comes from the Greek, allowing God or the source to flow through you. And when you have your passion, you're inspired to move forward with your life. Inspiration comes from in spirit. It's all tied together, folks. That's the thing that's so cool. All these religions that we're not talking about, but we're kind of hinting at and stuff like that, every single one of them, everyone, talks about the light of God in some form or another. Allowing the light to come in. Buddha, sitting there with that energy, you know, and being one with this energy. So it doesn't matter what religion it is. It's talking about this light and this energy, this love, and it's all the same stuff. Whether you're in the science, or you're in the religion, or you're in the spirituality stuff, it's all the same. And that's what's really cool about it. Compassion is the seventh. Do stuff for other people. When you do stuff for other people, again, you're like that faucet that opens up. And when you're reaching out in love and light, they get that. This has done another scientific test. They have done a test where this person here and this person here, this person gives something to here. This shares some love and light to this person here. Well, this person, of course, getting the gift, their energy goes up because of getting this wonderful gift. How wonderful, thank you very much. This person here, because they're giving this gift with love and light, freely, no taxes. It's not like, I'm giving you this so I'm controlling you. That doesn't count. So I'm giving you this, I'm getting my energy up. And the neat thing about it is that everybody witnessing that, their energy comes up too. Only good can come of this. Some people say good is extended God. When we say goodbye, you know what how do you spell bye? The bye part of goodbye? B-Y-E. You want to know why that is? Because it's God be with ye. It's a contraction for that. So when you're saying goodbye to somebody, you're saying a really nice thing. God be with you. Go in peace. You know, go with all the love and energy that could possibly come and surround you. So, cool. That's number 7. Now, here's the big one at the end. Remember I said the one thing that'll bring world peace. I'm not talking about peas. I'm so tempted to bring a little can. What is this? It's world peace. Okay. The one thing, the Dalai Lama, one of my favorite guys, said that compassion is the single most important quality that humanity needs to learn. This is the way to find happiness and health and to feel successful. Isn't that nice? Okay, this, number 2 for this. War and violence would become extinct in 1 generation if, beginning at the age of 5, children were taught to meditate on compassion for 1 hour a week for the rest of their lives. Such is the power of a compassionate approach to life, which is truly thinking of others and by living by the golden rule. That's how we could find world peace. That's pretty cool. So, there you are. But, behold the underlying truth. Getting everybody to follow into that might be a little tricky, because I know a lot of us have been working towards that, but it's a little tricky. But here's the scary thing, folks, and this is the thing that we need to be mindful of. There was somebody a long time ago that said, give me a young boy till the age of 7 and he'll be mine for life. Does anybody remember that quote? Does anybody? Vaguely? Okay, Hitler said that. Hitler. He said, he said, give me a boy till the age of 7 and he'll be mine for life. And that's a scary thing. So that's exactly the same thing that the Dalai Lama said, only flipped. So the environment is really important. The energy that we put out is really important, is vitally important. When we say, oh, this job is killing me, don't say that, because it just might. Oh, I was just joking. Don't say it. Don't put out. The universe does have a sense of humor, I'm sure. But he isn't joking when you put out something that you want. Like I am, the I am stuff. If you want to just start manifesting things, really get into the space and that zone of being connected and start saying, I am this, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am loving, I am light, I am all this other stuff. But don't say I am sick and tired of this thing or whatever it is, because you will be. So nix that on that part of it. It's all energy, folks, and it's all there for you. And you can do it. There's only one corner of the universe you can be certain of improving, and that's your own self. Aldous Huxley said that. There's no blame or no shame with anything you choose or anything that you have chosen. This is your life. Choose it the way you want it to be and reclaim your power. Okay, you want to do a little meditation? We got a little time. It's 9:30. You want to do a little bit? Okay. Everybody take a deep breath. Just get into that space. And we'll do another two. This time we can turn the lights off. Turn the music back on. Did anybody like that last music with the 520 hertz? Yeah. You like that? Okay, that was good. Okay, first I'm in the dark, and I'm good though. Bless you. Okay, this next, I'll tell you, just while you're kind of getting into the zone of it. This piece of music that I'm playing now is a layered piece of
meditation.
Maybe I'll explain it afterwards, but you'll hear many layers in this thing to help you get to where we want to go. Everybody take a deep breath. Just let yourself settle into where you are, however you are. You're the most comfortable. Peace. Each breath, bringing in more of that peace. As you drift gently down, more and more relaxed. More and more at peace. Nice breath through your nose, release through your mouth. As you're drifting down ever so gently, ever so easily, imagine yourself just before dawn in a place that you feel is safe, beautiful, warm, peace. You may notice some of the nature around you. And you're facing east. And in your mind, in your heart, whether you're lying down or you're sitting in the Zen position or yoga position or just sitting down on something, begin to sense the beginning of something huge, something important. You see the stars above. Dark indigo blue sky. It's just beginning to shift. Breathe in. And you feel this energy beginning to shift around you. And as you're being mindful of where you are in this space, perfectly safe, secure, loved, you begin to notice towards the horizon that it's getting a little bit lighter, ever so gently, a little bit lighter. And the stars that are over in that direction are beginning to fade into the sky. And you breathe in again, nice, deep, easy breath. And then just on the edge of that horizon, just a tiny bit of light, like a golden ray coming out as a point of light right on the edge, and that takes your focus, and you're watching this golden ray. And it shoots up over the sky so high. And as you're looking at this, you can begin to just ever so slightly see the beginning of a curve in the light of the sun. And you take another breath, and as you release, you can see a little more of the sun and more definition of everything around you. You begin to hear birds in the distance. The sun comes up more, and now it's enough above the horizon that it's lighting up everything around you. All this nature and beauty is right there for you. This energy that is coming forth is there for you. And the sun comes up more and more, and you can feel the warmth, and it melts away any of the chills of the night that you were there waiting for this event. The sun comes up, and you're bringing in all this energy from the sun. This light is warming you up all the way to your bones. It's almost as if it is healing your body. It is filling you up with the light of the universe right there for you. And as it comes up further, the whole day has begun. This whole day has begun for you to start a new day on a new path as you reclaim your power and you begin again. Embrace this new life. Embrace this power. This energy is always there for you. This sun will always come up for you. Every day. Embrace. Breathe deep. And when you're ready, you breathe into awakeness, feeling wholly and completely filled with this energy. The darkness that you open your eyes to is merely an illusion. Okay, take another nice breath, release, and be here. Be here now, because now is all we got. Does anybody ever remember the guy named Severn Garden?
Yeah.
Okay, you'd have to be old to remember him. He was an old Second City guy, and he did this old Yiddish German professor, and he talks about space and time, and it just, he gets it all mixed up and everything. But he talks about time. This is all the time we got. It's right here, and the space is everywhere. I can't remember the whole thing. I got the script somewhere, but it's pretty cool if you ever got a chance to listen to it. Sometimes it's on Midnight Special on WFMT. So there we are. Now this piece of music that we were listening to, it's got the 528 vibration sound in there. It's got the gong at that tone. There's a little clicking sound. How many heard the clicking sound? That's not a mistake. That's a binaural beat in there. That if you were wearing headphones, you would hear that, and it would activate your brain better that way. And then there's a mantra that goes through there. How many heard that? It's kind of in there, and sometimes it comes up and it goes down. It's I love you, 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 I love you. And as we hear that in a circle, all those words are significant. I love you, I love you. But as you're listening to that, sometimes it'll flip. You, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love. I have meditated to this thing and I've heard other words. I don't know how that works because I made that. So I know those other words weren't in there originally. But when you meditate, other stuff comes in. How many people meditate here? How many people meditate as much as they should? Never should on yourself. Yes, never should on yourself. Meditate when you can, while you can. Back when I was at the university, I came up with this. Do what you can, when you can, while you can. Good byline there. Any other questions? I have answered everything. Oh, there's one in the back there.
If I wanted a copy of that music, how would I go about getting that?
I was just gonna ask. Oh, I just thought we had to go on your website for it.
Oh, that was for the solfeggio tunes. But pass that back to.
Do you have another one of those?
I have one more.
I would love to.
Yeah, just
I will take. Let me. How many people are going to be here next month? Okay. Let me know. Let me know if you want one, and I'll make one.
Thank you, Don, very much.
I can make copies.
You can make
Got a lot
copies.
of extra CDs.
Would you trust him to? One of you, if you hand over that, then
Always giving away free love.
all free love. Almost giving free love away. Okay. First Sunday of the month, there's a meeting at Larry Garrett's, always. I won't be there. And, I'm usually there at the first of the year one, but I've got a commitment every, the first Sunday of the month.
So you
Can't go. Well, it's sort of related. I'm the chaplain for the yacht club, and so we have our meetings the first Sunday.
That sounds like a real hardship.
That's good. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Thank you, folks. Hey. I do have two more handouts. I just passed by, and I didn't. Here's a good book list. Every book in here was referenced to this. Can pass those around. Yeah, let me have the back one here. And then the second one is some good quotes. Oh, my book, yes. Folks, there are 3 copies left of my book that I wrote a while back. It's a student-teacher kind of a novel. It's got the secrets of life right there in that little book. $15 will get you a copy.
Autograph, signed by
And I'll autograph it for free. Actually, the autograph, is $15, and when you buy my autograph, I'll give you a free book. That's the only way you'll get a free book, though. Okay, these quotes. We'll pass these out. I read one. Oh, fear knocked at the door, love answered. No one was there. That's a Rumi quote. But I want to read this one purpose thing on the back. That is, I think, the one that's got the title. Anyway, no problem. Purpose. To sit in silence and meditate is a gift from God. And then to carry that peace into activity is to share that gift with all the world. Each day, go within to make contact with your God. Remember God and energy. Ask Him what He wants of you this day, and then go forth and glorify love in all you do. You are not asked to conquer nations or persons. You are asked to dispel illusions by acting on truth. There is no difference between what serves you and what will heal the world. You are never asked or expected to heal yourself or the world at the expense of the other. You are the world. Alan Cohen, great book, Healing of the Planet Earth. It's not in print anymore, but you can find it on Amazon maybe. But it's worth reading. So, that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
On behalf of the AAEH final chapter, which is us.
That's
I'd like to award you with
yes.
one of these valuable and nicely signed by the president of the organization.
The president himself.
The president himself signed this certificate, and no one deserves it more than we do.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. So I can come back?
I hope so.
Okay.
I hope so. You,
Thank you all.
monthly?
Monthly. I will be here monthly.
You passed the test.
It's great. That's wonderful. Thank you very, very much for you guys. Thank you.
David,
Hey,
will this
that
be
guy's
the
really
final
good.
frontier? We're not done.
No, we're just the final.